The cavalry classes. Chances are, most of you all be getting one of the servants in this category, just by the sheer number of the servants that is in said category. So here we are. I'll be discussing what servants are good in the cavalry class for gameplay purposes in the SSR Ticket in the 6th anniversary. I should have said this in the first video about the knights as well, but I'm new to this, so cut me some slack. If you've only started playing FGO or planning to play FGO, to get the SSR Ticket in July, you will need to complete Fuyuki, aka the first singularity, kind of. It's technically the first singularity, but yeah. But be warned, that is hell you are walking into. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of good servants in the cavalry classes in the SSR Ticket, and one servant in particular is someone you've probably have been recommended a million times before, ever since you've started playing FGO, but I'll save that for his part of the video. Let's get this party started with the Rider class. The Rider class has 6 servants in the ticket. All are very strong and has uses. The first servant is Achilles. He is an AoE quick rider that can loop with Skadi. I would recommend him if you have a Skadi and if you are in need of a rider. But if you don't, unless you particularly like carrots, I recommend getting someone else. The second servant is Europa. She's an AoE buster rider, and in my opinion, she is the weakest pick in the rider class. Not because she is bad, that 5-bit extra attack is really nice, but it's because the servants in the rider class that are in the ticket are monsters, absolute units that can be account changing depending on your account. Europa is essentially a 5-star version of Marie. Wait, what? What do you mean she has a 30% MP battery? She's the best servant hands down, not even a contest. But no, we'll shortly see who the premier buster looper is for the rider class. But before that, time to see the top pick for the rider class as a whole. Ozymandias is a single target buster, jack of all trades servant. He can do everything, except for farming of course. He has an attack buff that gives stars and crit damage when in a sunlight battlefield. This might not sound that good considering there is a condition, but his NP can grant him that condition. His second skill is Imperial Privilege A, which gives him 3 buffs, attack, defense, and a heal, but it's only by chance. But his third skill increases his buff success rate, aka it guarantees the buffs on his second skill, on top of giving a party-wide 20% MP battery. Lastly, his NP, on top of giving the condition for his first skill, also seals the NP of the enemy by 1 turn, but also reduces his own cooldowns by 1. Need I say more? Next is Quetzalcoatl. Sadly, after Ozzy's buffs, she has been overshadowed. She is by no means bad. I would say if Ozzy wasn't here, she'll be the premier boss killer. But Ozzy is there, and with only 1 buff, it is very hard to compete with Ozzy. Loved her in Babylonia though. Maeve, honestly, after the idol event, she be hitting different. And that costume, she sadly suffers from the same problem as Cat. It's that Ozzy is a thing. Although she has a niche that's a support for male and Fae servants. Now that the Fae servants are getting introduced, if you want to use them a lot, then I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to go for Maeve. Heck, I am seriously considering her as my pick after I got Mordred. Last but certainly not the least, the premier buster AoE rider in this selection. It's Drake! She has NP damage, party-wide attack buffs, a 3-turn buster up, ignore defense, on top of a 50% NP battery, ignore invincibility, and a 10-star bomb. With an NP that got buffed to do more damage and also gives stars after the NP. In terms of farming, she is amazing with her kit that is simple but synergizes very well with each other, and Koyanskaya. The only gripe I have about Drake is that her first skill only lasts for 1 turn. If she gets a buff where this becomes 3 turns, she's the best AoE buster rider hands down. Here it is, the equally stacked caster servants. Let's save the best for last and start with the loopers. There are 2 to choose from, Anastasia and Scheherazade. Both are capable of looping with Castoria, so honestly pick who your waifu is out of the 2. As someone who has NP2 Scheherazade, I can say she's good, but you don't need both to be honest, because we have a free-to-play option in the form of Sieg. So if you have him, you don't have to get them unless they're your waifus. If that's the case, then have fun. Next is the more coveted niche, which is the single target casters, where we only have 1, which is Sanzang. She is a great. Even as a year 1 servant, she has aged very well. with buffs that actually make sense for her. The biggest aspect of Sanzang... Hey, where are you looking at? I said the biggest aspect of Sanzang that makes her a high tier unit in my eyes is that 80% MP battery, which is very rare. You literally have a kaleidoscope for a skill and makes getting her NP very easy. Her only competition in the Buster single target casters is Ilya, who has a 50% MP battery. Ilya does more damage, but Sanzang is way more versatile. She's a little like Ozzy, where she can do multiple things. Lastly, we have the support casters, the most coveted servants for a majority of the years that FGO has been out. I say majority because lately, they have been stepping away from only having casters as the premier support servants in the game. Hey, you! Yeah, you, get out! This is for the SSR ticket, not the banner for the 6th anniversary. We have 2 servants in the support caster category. We have Tamamo and... I don't know how many of you know, but if you know, you know. But yeah, Waver. If you somehow don't have a copy of him by now, you'll get him. Unless you don't like Waver. And you don't care about meta. Which is fine. Every pick is valid. And you are free to pick who you want. Yeah, Greg Sama. I got another one. Oh yeah, Tamamo. Tamamo is a thing. She's good. Yeah. Pair her up with any art servant. I mean, what do you want me to say? She's good. She's good. For the assassins, thank God we only have 3. We have 2 single target assassins and a support assassin. Yes, a support assassin. I don't know what they had in mind when making Hime, but hey, you just get out. Get out here. This ain't your video. Hime is a support assassin. Sadly, she's not as good as a fox lady that will be coming out in the same event. The next are the single target assassins who are Jack the Ripper and Li Shuwen. Both servants are great and are pretty comparable. If you were to pick anyone, pick whichever one you have the support for. Now the last of the cavalry classes. We have Berserkers. We have 2 single target Berserkers, 1 AoE Berserker, and a support Berserker. The first are the single target Berserkers. Both are top tier but has 2 different playstyles. One needs a support to really pop off, and one is a soloing monster. Vlad has really come to his own ever since the start of the game. Back then, he was arguably one of, if not the least popular 5-star. But with years of buffs to his MP and skills, it has changed. He is now the premier single target arts Berserker, and when paired with caster Artoria or Tamamo, he is a beast to be reckoned with. Ku Alter, on the other hand, is a monster from when he first got released to present day. And unlike Vlad, he only needed 1 buff to solidify himself in the upper echelon of SSRs. He can remove buffs with his NP now. How broken is that? For the next servant, we have Xiang Yu, who is an AoE quick Berserker. At first glance, he is the 5-star version of Lancelot. But when you really look at him, he is a worse version of Lancelot. Why? He needs so much to loot. Double Skadi, Skadi Summer, other 50% MP battery supports, Kaleidoscope. Don't get him, period. He's pretty good at critting, but that's about it. Last, we have Nightingale. If you want to support, you should just go for Waver to be honest, but if you really want Nightingale, she's decent. She's the Merlin before Merlin, with lesser survivability, and lesser buffs to boot. I mean, she has heals to support, but also has a skill that only buffs herself against humanoid enemies. It looks like they didn't know how to make a support servant and made Nightingale to test the waters. That is the end of the video. I had to shorten some explanations because of the sheer amount of servants that is in the Cavalry category, but I hope even if this video didn't help you decide which servant to go for, that you enjoyed it somewhat. There will be one last video tackling the 3 servants in the extra class, so look out for that. Okay, bye.